On the previous episode of the Evo X, we replaced the wing and installed a new skid plate. We then replaced the worn and grooved rotors for some new Girodisc brake rotors. After that, I installed a new lightweight crash bar, and then Vinay and Delano from 2020 Tint and Films came and wrapped the roof black.
In this episode, we have a ton of suspension work to do to this Evo X. I'm not really planning on taking it to the track, but I still like my cars to handle well around the street. So we're gonna put some coilovers on it, we're gonna do some sway bars, some stiffer sway bars, and we're gonna do some roll center correction. These are the coilovers that were on this car. These are Öhlins Road & Track, and they're awesome coilovers. They've been on the car since at least 2015, because when we drove this car back then, it had these coilovers on them. And obviously, they're quite aged. They're very old. My records indicate that they're probably about 40,000 miles old, which is about where you want to do the service interval on these. So there's like different seals and gaskets and stuff that can wear out. And obviously, cosmetically, it's quite worn as well. Now you can get these rebuilt. You can send them over to Öhlins and they'll rebuild them. It's about 1,600 bucks, but it'll take also a little over a month, and I don't really have that kind of time to let the car sit on the lift. We have other projects, we have other things going on. So I figured I'd just put a brand new set on them, and naturally MA Performance has what we need. So we've got some brand new Öhlins in here, Road & Tracks for the Evo X. Normally we go with Fortunatos because Fortunatos are awesome, but since this car already had Öhlins on it, I figured I'd put some Öhlins on it again because that makes it a lot more simple, a lot easier. And also, kind of want to taste the rainbow a little bit, you know, to see what kind of other coilovers feel like. So Öhlins sends you the coilovers in pieces. So you kind of have to assemble it all yourself, which is fine because it's probably gonna do that anyway. So I've got my old one here to match. I've got the new ones, which obviously look a lot better. It looks like they've actually made some revisions as well. You can see this body is all the way threaded through while the old one doesn't actually have threads all the way through. So maybe some interesting updates on this, but I'm gonna put this together with the 10K springs in the front. I'm gonna do 8K springs in the rear, which is kind of their recommended setup. If I was gonna track this, probably run a little bit stiffer in the rear to get some more rotation, but we've got some sway bars that'll help with that a little bit. We'll put on later. A little dust boot, top spring perch. Then we have, see, a little spacer goes here for the pillow ball mount, and then bolt on top. So really not that bad. And then obviously we will adjust the height to match the other one and throw this guy in there. Okay, so the rear, we're gonna do a little bit more fine adjustment on the installation. We need to set the bump stops, which is this guy right here. This little rubber piece is the bump stop. You want that to engage under full compression before the tire hits the fender, which is a little bit more important in our case because we still have the stock body underneath our wide body, which means the tire goes directly up into the fender. So we've got to set these bump stops so that that doesn't happen. I want the coilover to bottom out before the tire bottoms out. These come with little packers, which is nice. So this is your adjustability for that. If you take these out, the spring will be able to compress a lot more before it bottoms out. So we're gonna want as much packers as we can get to obviously get this to bottom out before the tire does. I don't really know where that spot is gonna be. So we're going to assemble this coilover together without a spring. We're gonna throw it on the car without a spring, and then put the tire on, compress it, and see just where the bump stops will engage to make sure they're engaging before the tire does. The packers are nowhere near engaging. We're gonna have to add packers, and we can also adjust where the center of the shock is to have that sit up higher. But you can only do that so much because you need to have some preload on the spring. So I'm thinking more packers. All right, looks like about a little over 2 inches of total suspension travel before the bump stop starts engaging. So maybe 2.5 inches total. plus the motion ratio with the control arm, we might have about 3 inches of total suspension movement, which is not bad. You know, there's a lot of packers in there, but if those packers weren't in there, it's gonna hit the fender anyway. So that's how much suspension travel we have to work with, period, unless I cut out the fenders, and I don't have the heart to do that. So this should be pretty good. Let's throw the wheel on, make sure that the packers hit before the wheel hits, then we'll be good and we don't have to worry about any rubbing. All right, so we've got the bump stops where they need to be now. So we're not contacting, but we are in the bump stop. So I'm just gonna measure the distance here, 2.75. So it's almost 3 inches of travel. That's gonna be at full droop. We'll measure what it is at once we put the spring on, we'll measure what it is at the ride height, so we'll have the full ratio on it.
So we've got a bunch of suspension goodies from MA Performance, like the white line roll center correction, the control arm bushings, sway bars, and the rear camber arms. While Ben is doing the rear suspension, I thought I'd go ahead and start working on the front. Right now, I'm trying to get set up so I can drop the subframe, and I want to put this under it so I can brace it, and I want to start taking off the steering components and the engine mount stuff. So this is the factory Evo 10 sway bar. I just took it off because we're gonna replace it with the white line.
That one looks small, mine's bigger.
It certainly is, but the important part is down here at the end. You have different adjustability so that you can go from stiff to soft, and I recommend going full soft.
Full soft in the front?
On the front.
Okay, we have a rear sway bar as well. We plan on doing soft or stiff in the rear.
We're gonna do stiff in the rear.
Okay, okay. Try to get this thing to rotate. Okay, so we just finished with the rear suspension. We got the bump stops set where they need to be, so when it compresses fully, the tire is not gonna contact the fender, which is a good thing, so we can actually rip it and not have to worry about rubbing on all the fenders and everything. So those are set where they need to be. Hopefully the ride height is set where it needs to be, but we won't really know until we get the car down on the ground and start doing the alignment, which obviously we can't do because Mark is still working on the subframe. So we're just gonna keep hopping around back and forth here. There's a lot that we still have left to do on the suspension, and the next item is gonna be the rear sway bar. So while he's putting the front sway bar in, we're gonna work on the rear. This rear sway bar, I think, is 23 millimeters, so it's even smaller than the front one was. And we're going to a 27, which is the same thickness that our new front is, so it'll be even between the front and the rear. But the rear has also got adjustable end links, which is nice, so we can kind of dial it in on the track to our driving style. But I'm pretty sure I'm gonna want it on full stiff because it's an all-wheel drive car and it's an Evo, and Evos generally have a little bit of understeer, so counteract that with a little bit more rear sway bar. If you're wondering, this actually came as a kit. The front and the rear and the end links all came together as one kit from MA Performance. Wasn't that expensive either. Couple $100. We got control arm work we gotta do now because the end links connect to the control arms. So we have new bushings for standard control arm bushing, we have the caster bushing, and we have a ball joint for roll center correction. All of these have to press out, and I don't have a press here, but I do have a press. It's at my storage unit. This is it's a very small little press. It's a 12-ton press. I bought this to change a wheel bearing on my Subaru Forester, and I use it, let's see, I've used it once since then, so it doesn't get used a lot, which is why I just have it sitting here in storage. When you need it, and I have it, so we're gonna use it.
Press these bushings out. Now we're gonna put in some nice white line bushings from MA Performance. So what comes in this white line kit is 4 half shaft polyurethane bushings with 2 metal sleeves and some bushing lubricant. So Ben brought us back this bushing tool from VAULTZ, and we are going to press out this ball joint.
So we're replacing this not with another OEM ball joint, but with a taller one by, oh man, 5 mil maybe? I don't actually know, but I'm sure the math is worked out on these. These are white line, probably for the typical amount of lowering on an Evo. And effectively, a longer ball joint will mean that this control arm angle will sit at a different amount, right? So the knuckle sits right here on the control arm, and a taller ball joint will make this control arm sit down like that, right? So if you have your car lowered, normally this control arm is gonna stick up like that, so the longer ball joint will help level it out so that you have all the correct angles for your toe curve. And we don't need to get into that, but you can look it up if you wanna know more about it. But essentially, this will help correct some of our roll center. Ball joint is installed, so now we have a new bushing, new ball joint. Now we have the last bushing, probably the most difficult. We're gonna replace this with a caster adding bushing, basically. So this is, not only it says, is it stiffer, because this has got a lot of rubber in here. The fact that I can move that around with my hand is kind of surprising. So this is gonna be more rigid, which is good, but also it's going to give us more caster because the hole in the center will be like slightly offset, so it'll move the control arm. Caster just gives it a little bit more high-speed stability. And when you have a car that makes 700 horsepower, high-speed stability is a good thing.
Now that we're done with the bushings, we're gonna head back to the shop and put these control arms back on the car.
Okay, back in the garage now. We got the rear sway bar on there. We still have to do end links, but we also have to do a camber arm. So we have an adjustable white line camber arm that's gonna go here, which is good because these arms are kind of worn out. I shouldn't be able to do that easily, but also these are going to allow us to adjust camber quite easily with this little piece in the middle here. You can just turn it and that'll push this whole assembly out. So these are really nice to have. We're gonna throw these in here, then we'll have the rear end all tied up. These end links are going to connect the front sway bar to the lower control arm, and on the front we're gonna set it at full soft. We want this car to rotate a little bit, and all-wheel drive cars generally have a little bit of understeer, so stiff in the rear, soft in the front should help that rear kind of slide out a little bit. You know, if we do go to the track or drive it around and stuff and see how it feels, we can always adjust it.
This is our tie rod end. This will correct the roll center of our Evo 10. All right, the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna throw the wheels on and then do a corner balance. After the corner balance, then we'll do an alignment and take her out for a spin.
Now that we've weighed the car with Mark in it, we can see that the passenger side corner balance is off.
So now we're gonna change the ride height on the coilover to shift the weight around and make the car balanced.
Okay, so we got the corner balance as close as we felt like we should. A lot of this is a lot of back and forth and getting the ride heights moved around and stuff to get the corner balance right. This video is not about corner balancing, but you have to make some compromises, and we made some compromises for fitment because this front tire is really close to this fender here, and I'm worried about it rubbing, so I can't really go lower in this corner. Even though to get it properly corner balanced, we should go lower in this corner. I'm not gonna do that. It looks good visually, and we got it as close as we can corner balance wise. So now we're gonna move on and do the alignment, which is maybe even more boring. So we're just gonna kind of brush by that in the video. If you wanna see more about alignments, there's plenty of other videos out there about it. But for now, I'm gonna hand it over to Mark. Mark, can you align this thing real quick? Well, Mark, thanks again.
No problem.
For some more wrenching on this car. We got the suspension all good. We have the alignment now. It's a little too late for a test drive. It is 3:30 a.m.
Yeah, it really is.
So maybe hit the sack tomorrow and go for a test drive. I want to see how the suspension feels with actual camber, because before the car definitely only had maybe 1 degree of camber. And now it's got 3.3 is what we did up here?
3.3 and 2.2 in the rear.
Very aggressive for a street car.
On 295s.
It's gonna feel good. It's gonna carve those corners so well.
It's gonna turn quick.
Obviously handles a ton better now. The alignment is set a lot more aggressive, and the alignment alone will make a car feel a lot better, a lot snappier, and this does. I mean, I can turn the wheel side to side, and I'm moving all over the place really easily. The steering on Evos are very smooth. I mean, I'm used to Subaru steerings, which aren't quite as smooth, and this is really nice. Yeah, wow, it is incredible. So previously, the previous owner had the damping set on his coilovers to full stiff because the rear was rubbing in the wheel well. Well, now that the bump stops are set correctly, I can set the damping to full soft, and it still doesn't rub because it just hits the bump stop if it gets that far or gets too much into compression. So as a result, we have a really soft, compliant suspension for a street car, which is what this is. It's really comfortable. I mean, I'm not bouncing all over the place. It's just smooth. And yet when I get into the corner and lean around it, I think maybe the rear is kind of riding up on that bump stop, the sway bar is kicking in, and everything just comes together, and man, it's really nice. Still a few other things that we need to fix. There's still a few other cosmetic items, but also the power band needs to get fixed. It is very late in the power band that the power comes on. I think that might be the next thing that we need to address. Man, I just want to keep driving on this mountain road though.